It is the RadioU podcast. Good day. Welcome to the Tuesday show. What do you guys think about if I just list Saturday morning cartoons for the whole intro?
I just like to maybe it's just because I don't think I watched as many. My brother watched more Saturday cartoons, but I feel like we all watch different things, and I don't know all the ones, so I don't know if we're all connecting.
Well, think about this. Here's a great Saturday morning cartoon. DuckTales.
Yes, that was good, but I didn't remember it being Saturday morning.
Yeah, you know what? I think as a kid too, I didn't get up on Saturday morning and watch cartoons, but the Saturday morning cartoons we would watch. You think about these ones, Nikki. Remember how they used to turn every Disney animated movie instead of turning it? Yes, and there'd be like the Aladdin show, or Hercules.
Listen. I'm not saying that perhaps some have been watched on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I can't find anything else to watch on Disney Plus.
But see, that's what those are. Those are Saturday morning cartoons. We just didn't watch them on Saturday mornings.
I see.
But if they made whatever new Saturday morning cartoons they're making, they probably still make them, and we just don't even know because they're not for us adults.
I don't think they're still Saturday cartoons.
What else are kids doing on Saturday mornings?
That's true. Saturday morning cartoons to me just look like the Boomerang Channel. That's what I'm seeing on here.
Yeah, that's
just the Boomerang Channel.
Old school ones. Yeah, like the Flintstones and the Jetsons and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Johnny Bravo and whatnot.
Yeah.
We were talking about, does it make it into the podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, it does. So we'll talk in the podcast a little bit later about Netflix has unveiled the Stranger Things animated cartoon that will be coming out after the finale of Stranger Things.
Now I'm looking at a list of them. Remember Inspector Gadget?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Vaguely.
Yeah. Then they tried
had a lot of versions.
They tried turning that into a real movie. Do you remember who the star of that was?
I don't remember who the star of it was, but I remember the actual movie of Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
And did you like it?
I liked it.
It was okay. I don't remember it doing very well. What about Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
Yes.
They just turned that into a movie. Here's a good one. Pinky and the Brain.
You love that one?
That's a good one.
I watched it. It's not one of my favorites, but that's just a judgment.
What about Cat Dog? You ever watch that one?
Yeah.
I liked Cat Dog.
Cat Dog's a good one. And I had one more here. It was Animaniacs. People love that.
Yeah, that was good.
And they brought that back on Hulu.
I watched that a lot.
So see that's when I think Saturday morning cartoons, and it will make sense when you hear us arguing about it when we're talking about Stranger Things.
Oh, I don't think we were arguing. I think you were just so passionately stuck on something.
Yes, because I have an idea in my head of what Saturday morning cartoons are.
So now if
Stranger Things isn't like that, if it's not like Pinky and the Brain, then I'm not going to be. Then it's not. Then they're all wrong.
Well, make sure you text us if we missed one of your favorites to 877-2RadioU and just get ready to hear Hudson get all aflutter.
Yeah, that's right.
Get flooded on that one. Yeah, we also talked about a dog that has an addiction like no other.
Oh, it's really sad.
It is sad.
It's terrible.
But we try to still have a good time with it.
I know, but I guess we never thought that it would get so bad for a dog that they could have the same, sort of addiction to something that we could.
It's just, it does surprise me, and I like we mentioned this, but for dogs, I've seen dogs drink beer like in videos and stuff, but it's hard for me to picture a dog being tempted by like any other alcoholic drink. So I just am curious what this dog was drinking. Yeah.
Not sure. Is your dog addicted to anything you can think of?
Barking.
Yeah.
Hitting the window. Oh my gosh.
Hitting the window.
With his little paws. And my dog Rolo now does this dumb thing. Because I have like front windows and there's a couch. I don't know why I have a couch there. I make it comfortable for him to lay right there. So he looks and he barks. And if something really makes him mad, and it's never people. He doesn't bark at people. He barks at dogs.
Right.
Especially if they walk on our grass. So if this dog is on our grass, he'll just go crazy. Pawing at the window. He then gets up and goes up to the steps. In the middle of our steps to the next level is another window with a little ledge. He goes and stands up on there to make sure the dog leaves the property. And it drives me crazy.
And every time the dog leaves, doesn't it?
Then he goes back down.
And then he's like, job well done.
Get out of here.
Another one scared away.
I'm just like, Rolo, I didn't ask you to do that. And I thought I gave your pill to stop this behavior.
It is amazing how for me and my windows that no matter what furniture I try to put there to deters a fear of the dog from barking. She always finds a way.
Yeah, and there's always snot nose little prints all over
Pretty
it.
embarrassing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, did we cover enough?
Yeah, I think.
I think so.
That's all you need to know.
Think we're good. Make sure you enjoy the podcast today. As always, thank you for listening. We do really appreciate it.
And we'll catch you next time.
Even when
See
we
you
just
guys.
yell about Saturday morning cartoons. Bye.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. RadioU.
I don't know if I get here first before everybody else. And so I don't know if they're still out there when you get here.
Oh, the police?
But there's almost always police, and that's a new thing.
Well, they just wanted to say hi.
They want to keep us safe.
No, there's two out there, at least when I was
There's
pulling
two?
in. Yeah, they were just all talking to each
They're
other.
multiplying.
They are.
It's been this way for a while, though, but it is a new thing. I've done this show, for years. And only recently did police start showing up almost every single morning when I arrive.
Yeah.
And here's what I want to know. Should I be careful? Are they building a case on me or something?
When you pull in?
Yeah. Are they observing me for some reason?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I mean, of course, I have nothing that they could get me on. I've covered my tracks pretty well, I think. But then, too, I feel like I should do something nice.
Oh, when you see them?
Yeah.
I know. It's so dark, too. I always feel like, should I wave?
Right.
Would they even see me wave?
Yeah.
What will it look like?
Would that be suspicious to
Yes.
them? Would they be like, nobody waves at us?
Well, I think they usually park here just to kind of watch everything. And because we have a large office complex where we
Yeah.
work at, and it's just a comfortable place to park. Because I've even seen them over near the dumpsters, and they're taking a nap over there. It's like, all right, guys, it's a break time.
So the nicest thing you can do is not wake them up.
Yeah, probably just ignore.
Yeah, I also thought about, should I make cookies? Mm-hmm. But again, would that be considered a nice gesture, or would that be like, what's this guy trying to cover up?
I'll leave that up to you, but just keep feeling it out. See how it is each morning.
Yeah, I was just, I didn't know if I should be concerned or if I should feel safe.
You feel safe.
Safe.
Definitely.
Okay, definitely.
It's always more
As long
safe
as
when
I
they're
don't-
parking out there.
As long as I don't do anything wrong that they can find out about.
And besides, with your voice like this, they're like, sir, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You talk to them. Wait till
Do
you
you
feel
need
better.
help, sir?
I know. What's wrong with your voice?
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. RadioU.
Let's take a trip up to the Great White North. In Canada, of course, just like in the United States, they dealt with COVID.
Yeah.
And it changed the way of life there, where people would, if they were living in the city, might take more seriously the idea of moving out of town, moving out to the country. I'm working from home anyways. I might as well get away from it all.
Well, like here, I mean, a lot of people wanted to move away from more expensive areas.
That's right, and save a few bucks. But in Canada, what people are now realizing now that COVID is behind them is that there's a reason that you're saving a few bucks by moving out to the country.
Because there's not a lot to offer.
Yeah, people. This is according to real estate experts, is that they're finding that people are very ready to sell their country homes that they bought during COVID when they moved away and moving back to the city. And so that's unfortunate for the people that are selling their homes because the prices are dropping because there's not a lot of demand and there is a lot of people selling. And
that means, Isaiah, we could get a nice deal on a real
ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Out in the
absolutely
country.
it.
Canadian country home.
Do we want to be in the Canadian, country area?
Yeah, would you like to try rural living in Canada?
No, I think it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, how far away are we talking from anything?
I mean,
because if it's out there in the sticks, that's not quite the life for me.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's a big country, so that means there's a lot of unoccupied space where you could be living miles and miles from people. What the stuff that they found that people are complaining about now that they've had enough time to deal with
Internet
country
speed.
living. Internet speed, I don't see that coming up, but
It's on the list.
cell phone service.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the real estate agents that are talking here were saying that they started telling people you got to take out your phone when you're visiting this place and see what kind of service you get to see if you have a good provider for this area because they don't all cover all of the rural areas of Canada. Also, some of the stuff that you need to think about if you're moving out to the country that people complain about. Septic systems.
Oh.
because sometimes you'd have like well water or stuff.
Oh, no,
and
thanks.
It's not all like if it's all city, then it's the city's problem. But if it's your own septic tank or whatever,
You have to do that?
That's your issue, which who wants to deal with that?
Hey, well water's tasty. I'll
No,
tell you
it's
that.
not.
It
It's
is
more
true.
like-
It is true.
I think it's the septic stuff that's more the
Precisely.
issue with that. I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. They also say, obviously, this is particularly a problem in Canada, but snow-covered roads.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a city, you could complain, I can't believe they don't. You don't understand the difference between the city taking a long time to plow something and
It's
in the
your
middle
own
of
fault.
nowhere taking a long time to plow something.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're
then,
not selling it, Hudson. You're not helping.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I've lived in the country, and I don't recommend it. I know it's. There are some people that are built that way. They seem to mostly be people that grew up that way, and even a lot of people that grew up that way are like, this isn't really for me.
Sure.
So that is a cautionary tale. If you consider getting away from it all, I'm sure there's probably a few things you're not thinking about.
But like,
that
how
make it
big
not
of a
all it's
house
crack.
can you get?
You can get a much bigger house in the country than you can in the city.
That
But
would
is
be
it all
nice.
worth it?
I don't know.
I think it is for the right person. I think that there's some people that obviously belong in the city, and then there's others that they could make the cut in the country.
And like, would bears come to the door?
In Canada,
Yeah, I know, that's why,
In
like, maybe I
Yukon,
would.
Northwest Territories, Nunavut, you probably got a good chance.
Nunavut?
Yeah, Nunavut.
I love it.
I bet you'd see polar bears there.
Oh, see, that'd be
You could
great.
even eat them, perhaps.
Well, no, and let's not go there.
Why not? We talked about that on the show. That's one of the top things you missed last week, is that we talked about eating bear meat and somebody's sending us some.
Well, there's a difference also between, to me, like polar bear meat and just any bear meat.
That is true.
One's just no, they're all equally important.
I don't
Never
see
mind.
the distinction.
Well, we're not moving to the country, even in Canada.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
It's hard to believe, but we are approaching the 6-year anniversary of the infamous Fyre Fest. Remember that?
Was that the one where it was a scam and everybody went and was like stuck on the island?
Yeah.
And then there was like no food. You got like a little piece of bread.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly. And like a slice of lettuce.
Yeah.
And Ja Rule was part of putting it on. It was him and Billy McFarland was the guy's name. And
Didn't the guy get arrested or I think jail time?
Yeah,
he
something like that.
was sentenced to faced up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud. But he's back. Billy McFarland is his name. And he announced on Twitter yesterday that Fyre Festival 2 is happening.
No.
It's not even hey, we're working on it. It's happening.
Who would want to sign up for it?
That's the question,
Like
isn't
to
it?
even perform.
Who would want in any way to have their name attached to it? But then again, think about this. It's hard to get a festival off the ground to get people to sign up in the first place because, what if it doesn't get the publicity? This is going to have publicity if this goes somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, it's almost like you want it to become a thing so that people just want to go be a part of it.
Yeah.
And the worse that it is, the more excited you are because you can be a part of like the social media. Like, I can't believe I'm here. And
Yeah.
it happened again.
The more pathetic it is,
Yeah.
the more likely that you can get some followers out of it.
I mean,
Because if it just goes according to plan, that'd be so boring.
Would it be in the Bahamas?
The Bahamas is there. So the Bahamas is where the first Fyre Festival happened.
Yeah.
And in the Bahamas, Billy McFarland is still considered a fugitive. This is according to the Bahamas Minister of Tourism, said the country will not endorse or approve any event in the Bahamas associated with Billy McFarland.
So he can't go back.
And he is considered to be a fugitive. So it's not happening there. But where will it be? There's no details besides that he says it's happening. I just don't know how he's able to do this. How is he allowed to do this?
At this point, Hudson, all he's done is tweet about it. So that doesn't mean anything actually is going to happen.
You would think that they would have put like a lifetime ban of him like doing any sort of events. Like you're just not allowed to do any kind of event planning the rest of your life. That should have been a part of the plea deal.
You think that'd be considered cruel and unusual punishment?
I don't think so. I think he deserved that one.
But
after that.
It's his gift. It's the gift that he's been
I mean,
given.
you know what? The first one turned out pretty well for him.
He has a special talent for him.
You know that you're so good when your first party that you plan gets you facing up to 20 years in prison.
That's right. It was a wild time. What can you say?
That means you did a few things maybe wrong.
Sounds like a wild party.
Yeah. Well, if you are hoping to be a part of it, apparently Fyre Festival 2 may happen one day. That's according to the guy who put on Fyre Festival 1.
The fire's back.
Which also barely happened.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself. You're
listening to The Riot on RadioU.
We have vets in the UK who have just treated what they believe to be the first recorded alcoholic dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, who gave him beer? I assume it's beer.
How do you know it was beer?
I just assume.
Well, I don't know actually what kind of alcohol it was. I'll tell you that the dog is named Coco. Coco is 2 years old. He's a Labrador mix. And the reason that they even found out that he was alcoholic, and this is it's very sad, is that his owner had passed away. So they took, once the owner passed away, they took this dog into their care to treat it and find it a new home and whatever. But for Coco, the owner would leave alcoholic drinks out after they would go to bed every night. Like if they didn't finish their drink, they just leave it out, and then Coco would get into it.
And then he got addicted.
And he did that so frequently that Coco was addicted. And they say that they're very fortunate that he was able to make it through the treatment because the withdrawal was so extreme that he almost didn't make it.
Oh, this is sad.
That is crazy, isn't it? I didn't know that could happen. I guess nobody did.
They said that the dog is not ready yet for adoption because physically he's over, this is weird to say, his alcohol addiction. But they say that mentally it's caused a lot of anxiety.
Some stress is probably on him.
Yeah, so like mentally he still is not ready to be adopted yet.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, someone adopt him though when he's ready and take care of him.
Yeah, when you hear this story, I feel like a lot of the wrong people would want to adopt him.
No, yeah, you could not have alcohol around him.
Yeah, you got to be.
Yep.
Maybe you and your dog could support each other.
Through
your recovery.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because he.
Sober house.
I just didn't know that. Like for my dog, there's no chance that she would touch any. Like she doesn't eat. She doesn't get. She doesn't eat vegetables. She doesn't eat chocolate. She doesn't eat. There's a very limited things that she would eat. I didn't even realize that dogs would be tempted by alcoholic drinks.
Well, you wouldn't think about it's just because the owner had left them out.
Yeah,
which makes me wonder: was the owner also? I know he passed away.
Yeah,
but
we don't know about
did he
that.
have problems with alcohol?
And it makes you wonder what kind of the drinks. Because I think a dog could resist beer.
I don't know.
Unless it was really thirsty.
No, but that's
I
just
think
usually
it would just look away.
The largest amount of quantity, usually just being left out. Aw, someone. Isaiah, I know you're looking
Not for me.
You don't want another dog?
I can't do another dog.
It's not even here. I mean,
I know. Unfortunately, Coco, I cannot be your father. I can't do another dog. But I could see if I left anything out for Jim. If there was anything in the living room.
Yeah.
If it had an odor, then I think he would drink.
He
would consume it. Yeah, I think so.
What? I'm just going to try to think of what the most appealing alcoholic drink to a dog would be.
I don't know. Even if you leave the toilet, they're going to drink out of the toilet.
Well,
they just don't know anything.
The toilet tastes
right.
better than a lot of alcoholic drinks. I don't know if you
But the toilet can't smell very good, though.
But what if he was not, I know I'm jumping out to the other side, but what if he wasn't taken care of very well and never given water and this was all that was left out? He wouldn't even know any better.
That is jumping to conclusion. They don't say anything about.
I have this whole narrative.
Yeah,
the wild thing is,
come
too,
up with a great story.
This guy could have been a great owner, but he was just leaving it out at night and didn't realize that the whole time he was just drinking them.
How do you not know that your dog is drinking your beer?
See, I don't know how he didn't come across that part. I haven't figured that out yet.
Enough to where they say this dog was very ill.
And if he's just leaving him out at night, that what is the dog has to go through a 24-hour day, and that there's a difference between it licks up a few drops at the end of the night to it needs it 24/7 and it's stumbling around and jonesing for.
See, maybe that's why I think maybe it wasn't beer. Maybe it was a harder liquor. Maybe the guy had a glass that he would leave next to the couch where he was sitting.
Like a whiskey or something.
Like a whiskey or something. Because then if it was a whiskey, the dog wouldn't need nearly as much.
I still think if a dog, dogs are pretty smart So I feel like if they tasted whiskey, and they didn't realize, like, they have no inclination that they want to get drunk. So if they tasted it and they're not thinking about the effects, they'd be like, I don't want this.
Yeah, but what if your owner always had and you're like, look, Dad, like, I mean, you just wouldn't know any better. Let's mark that one for an update, though. I want to know when Coco has a chance to get a new home.
We'll try to keep tabs on that.
Aw, but that's sad.
I mean, it's a happy ending, though. The dog is, recovering, doing okay.
I think it just
they didn't
shows
know if
you,
it would make it.
Even if it's not alcoholic, like, cover your drinks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unless it's a nice glass of water, and I know you don't want them drinking your glass anyway.
No, you don't need to share. That's kind of weird.
You don't know what your dog's drinking.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
I'm glad you're here, Isaiah, except for the fact that we have to share headphones. If it wasn't for you, I could just have it at my right volume. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad you're here because you are our fan of American Horror Story. Is that correct?
I have watched American Horror Story before.
That means that
I
makes
haven't seen all of them.
That makes you a fan.
No, nobody has. Who's seen all 11 seasons? There's too many. But this next season, it's coming this summer, and it sounds like it's a season unlike any we've seen before.
A season not to miss.
Yeah, definitely. If you have gotten out of American Horror Story, this might be the time to get back because the big announcement that just came through the pipeline is that in American Horror Story Season 12, Kim Kardashian will be a part of the cast.
She's going to be an actress on it?
She's going to be an actress. And I don't know if you've looked at her filmography. She almost never performs. She almost never does any acting.
Well,
she's always playing herself.
You're missing the biggest joke because, with their reality show, that's the biggest acting of them all.
That's right.
So
That's right.
They're fine with acting.
She's proven that she's got the chops to cut it in American Horror Story. So I just think it is an odd move because I can't imagine all the money Kim Kardashian has that American Horror Story Season 12 doing a role in that. Like, how much could that possibly pay?
Well, I feel like if you're really a fan of AHS, if you're really
as the
a fan,
diehards call it.
But they usually cast like one or two people who maybe would have not been expected.
Yeah,
but this
Lady Gaga did a season.
It really feels like, unless she's a good actress and we just don't know it, it really feels
she's good.
like this would be a move where they were just trying to get, because 12,
get a name attached to it.
because 12 season in, they need to probably still drum up some support for the new season. So I feel like that's why, if you're really a fan of the show, you'd be kind of turned off a bit, because that's a common way that they try. Like, casting is just a way to get more people, like, controversy with it.
Yeah, I think for people that are diehard American Horror Story fans, is what they come to expect. Some off the wall
random choice,
actor or actress that you wouldn't expect to be in it. And so Kim Kardashian, all of the only other things we know about season 12, it's coming this summer. And Emma Roberts, she's been in several American Horror Stories before. She returns.
I love Emma Roberts.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite seasons. She's a big star in it. Love her. Big fan of Emma Roberts.
Find out something new every day. Mm-hmm. And then the other star of the show is a guy whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, but telling you his name would tell you less than telling you that he is the star of The Resident. And also,
that guy.
He's Rory's wealthy bad boy boyfriend on the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, because they canceled his other show. The Gilmore Girls guy.
That I could connect that to you, Nikki.
Thanks for doing that.
You and the Gilmore Girls. So now there's something for everybody, except for me, in American Horror Story Season 12, it sounds like.
Well, you can be there for the horror. That's all you need.
My favorite part. My favorite. It's what I love.
I don't know if this gets added into the show rotation. I don't like to also, if they're going into the 12th season, if I've not watched the show yet, you're never going to get me. That's just too many episodes to try to jump in on.
American Horror Story, every season,
it's
some of them
thing.
tie in, but they're
plot.
really their own thing, so you can just jump right in.
Yeah, that's what they always say. So
I mean, one of us has to watch it, right?
I'll watch it.
All right, that's
if Kim K and Emma Roberts are going to be in it, I have no issue watching it at all.
They really are trying to get you to watch
That's
it.
Right. It worked.
Hudson and Isaiah seem like they know a lot about sports, yet somehow it's Nikki that always gets it right. The Riot, Radio U.
How tempted are you guys by using ChatGPT?
Why don't we just say it this way? How tempted are we to cheat when we were doing school stuff? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, now you don't have to do school, but you could still use ChatGPT to cheat at life.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
You ever considered that? Have you signed up?
I can't even find it.
You can't find it?
If I Google ChatGPT,
If you aren't smart enough to find it on
I
Google,
can't even
then I don't
find
think
it.
you're
Well,
gonna-
that means that you're
has
so
anybody
honest.
opened it that we know? Like, I don't. That people keep on talking about it. I don't know anybody that has actually used it.
Yeah.
That means that you're trying to.
Yeah.
Tyler from the Weekends was using it the other day to like try to write breaks for himself. He said they turned out horribly.
Oh, really?
And I tried using it for some stuff too. I tried using it also to like, well, what would ChatGPT say that's funny about this story?
Yeah.
That we talk about on the show?
Oh, to
And-
kind of get like a summary or something.
Yeah, like do they have any like little quips I could use and claim them as my own? And ChatGPT doesn't like to joke. It finds that any story I bring up, it seems to think it would be offensive to joke about it.
So it doesn't do any
So
of
it'd be
it.
pretty hard. It's a kind of a big downer for the show.
Well, keep trying, Isaiah. All right. Don't give up
Yeah.
on
I can't even
cheating.
find it.
So maybe not for doing like radio stuff. It might not be the best, but I'll tell you that it is tempting. If I was in school, it'd be very tempting to go with ChatGPT because I think it'd be hard for like your professors to be able to grade or to be able to discern if you use ChatGPT or not, which is obviously what makes it so alluring to people to use.
Well, plus you can just get it to give you a starting off point
Right.
and then work from there, which
Yeah,
is
but-
using your own brain. So that's not cheating at that point. So.
That's a good point, Nikki. If that's what you tell yourself to make you feel okay and help you sleep at night, that's totally fine. But I do have evidence here. This is from the BBC, where they did a report on ChatGPT. They had a guy who averages a 2.1 GPA at Cardiff University, which that doesn't sound that great, right? 2.1.
That's like barely able to play sports. Actually, I think that's below able to play sports.
You
They-
mean it's good enough?
I mean, it's just good enough.
It looks like in the
Because
UK.
then you're not getting, you can't draw too much attention to yourself.
Exactly.
Right. In the UK, and maybe the grades are a little different. They say 2.1 is like equal to 60 to 69%,
Oh, that
which
is
is
a
still
little
good
low.
enough in their
Yeah.
eyes. So again, it might be a little different, but that's his average. And so he wrote his own 2,500 word essay, and then also had one where ChatGPT helped him out. And the ChatGPT one got the highest grade he'd ever gotten in his life.
Nice.
And the one he
Shocker.
wrote on his own got the average 2.1.
See, I think that's how you have to be careful when it comes to if you're wanting to get assistance.
Yeah.
You know, because if suddenly you're just this amazing
That's right.
essay writer, they start noticing like, hey, you're applying yourself and they know that you're not really.
So
They're going to know that you're cheating.
first you ask ChatGPT to write you an essay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you say, write the same essay, but make it slightly worse.
That's perfect.
And then turn
Yeah.
it in. Or just start using ChatGPT from a very young age. Like boxing, you got to start at 4 years old. You start with ChatGPT, and then nobody will ever know.
Cheat your whole life. Exactly what Hudson's saying.
You wouldn't even know when you weren't cheating anymore.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
So they are not saying who this guy is from this college because he doesn't want to be found out.
He doesn't want his grade to be affected.
Yeah, but he said that he would likely continue using chatbot to help him. This is the best term, frame out essays. And in the future, then he would hopefully score a little bit higher, but he would still put in some work.
Likely story. I don't believe if he has a 2.1 right now. Yet again, if you're at home right now with a 2.1, that is struggling. I mean, that is low. You're averaging not even a passing grade.
No,
like that is
you're
below.
fine.
It says it's considered a good mark.
It's
That
past.
is not a good mark.
That's what they say, and in the UK is different.
What are you talking about? 16,
I guess they're not as smart in the UK or something. I don't know.
That's
Maybe
wild.
They grade on a curve.
So they're saying that one workaround your school might be changing to is essays would be eventually possibly turned into real-time work that you would have to do in class. So you could no longer do your essays at home and they would stop some of the cheating that way.
Well, that sounds
Makes sense.
miserable, doesn't it?
See, what's going to happen? You guys are going to mess around, and then you're going to be writing your essays on pieces of paper,
Yeah.
like they used
By
to.
hand.
And then you're going to be like, "Why do we have to write on pieces of paper?" It's because you're all cheating.
because
That's why.
everybody's cheating. Hey, don't get mad because you can't figure it out.
You know what?
Yeah,
if it was
right.
me, I'd be cheating too. But I'm
I
just
think-
telling you what's going to happen.
You got to use ChatGPT to write your news.
Every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Make me sound smarter.
That's right. Let's see how
And then
we
in
might
your
get a
next
raise.
review, if they tell you like you really improved,
Your news is so good.
don't tell them why.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Tonight is the start of the NBA play-ins, not the playoffs.
What's
That's
the
later.
play-ins?
The play-ins is how you
early
play
ones?
into the playoff.
Oh, so it's the beginning ones.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
The last couple teams who need to make the cut play tonight.
Yeah. So it's tonight we've got single elimination isn't the right word, but winning you're in would be the right way to put it. You've got the Hawks playing the Heat.
Okay.
And the Wolves, the Timberwolves playing the Lakers. The Timberwolves are the team we talked about yesterday where two of their guys each punched one a person, one a wall. They're both not playing tonight. So that's going to be tough for them. They're
How's
playing
the wall? No.
Yeah, the wall
Holding
is
in there.
game
Okay.
time decision for the
Just
wall.
some emotional
Very
damage.
worried about it in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then so the losers of tonight's games still have a chance, though. They will play the winners of tomorrow's night's games, which is Bulls against Raptors and Thunder against Pelicans. Here's my question for you guys. Which of the play-in teams do you think has the best shot to make a run in the playoffs?
Good question.
Who could actually win a series?
Good question. Isaiah, I'd love to hear your thoughts
Well,
on that
there's an
first.
obvious answer,
Yeah.
which the obvious answer would be the team that LeBron is on.
That
That
makes
is
a
the
lot of
LA
sense.
Lakers. So I think for the majority of our audience, if I were to name the teams, I think we would be best off just saying LeBron is one of the options, and he has
Does
a
he
pretty good
play?
chance. He is playing.
Okay, because I mean, you want to put all your best guys in if you want to actually make
Yeah,
it.
he's
Yeah.
back and healthy, and they have the fortunate draw tonight where they get the Timberwolves without Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, so shorthanded, and that means the Lakers should win tonight, but they have a tough matchup when they win. If they win tonight, they'll play the Grizzlies. It's not going to be easy. So if we're looking for a team that's not the Lakers, I'm going to suggest that the New Orleans Pelicans have a shot to make a deep playoff run, because if they were to get through into the playoffs, they play the Nuggets in the first round.
Yeah.
Nuggets aren't that good.
You know, every time you guys do sports stuff, I don't know if anybody else at home listening plays this game. I play this game where I try to remember what city the team is in.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's a good game.
When
The
you're-
Pelicans, New Orleans.
I know when you said it, I was like, I don't have to try to guess that one. In my head, that's all that's going
Yeah, the
on.
Nuggets, that's Denver, right?
Denver?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. What other team city would have the Nuggets?
Yeah, exactly.
What a ridiculous name.
I just wasn't sure if anybody else ever did that when hearing sports teams. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I think this is from there.
The other team that I think, if I'm not going to pick the Lakers, because that's the obvious one, the team that
Right.
LeBron's on, if I had to pick another team, the other one that I would pick would be the Miami Heat. And that's because they only have to beat the Hawks to get in. And so
Right.
they only have to win the one game. And then they would get matched up with the Celtics. And the reason that I'd pick the Heat is because they're experienced. They've got some good superstars that have made deep runs before in the playoffs with Jimmy Butler. And I could see them making it a tough series for the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics, they're not as good as they were last year, I don't think. I
Yeah.
think losing their coach.
Dude, last year I had them. Like they were
They were your
Yeah.
team.
That was always who I was going for.
And we were rooting with you. I don't think it's fair, though, yet, until we know all the first-round matchups. We can't pick who we think will be in the finals. You aren't ready to do that, are you?
Yeah, it's too
I mean,
early.
I have one team.
Oh, yeah?
Don't
That I
pick the
think-
Cavs.
It's the Cavs.
No, don't
Well,
pick
that's
them.
ridiculous.
Them Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Don't sleep on them, all
You don't
right?
want to you don't want to do like the Masters where you give out the Bucks, Celtics, Suns, and and Grizzlies as the favorites, right?
Easy, all right?
Yeah.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, if you want some value, there's a lot of value there on that pick.
So tonight is the play-ins
That's right.
Yes.
to get us to the playoffs.
Looking forward to it.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Today is National Pet Day.
It is?
Yeah.
I feel like it's always a pet day.
It only happens like 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah, it does feel like a lot. Yesterday was National Hug Your Pet Day.
Aww.
And I don't know if you heard any of this conversation, but JR even brought it up on his show last night that people were talking about for Hug Your Pet Day. Do you say goodbye to your pets when you leave the house?
Yes.
You do?
Every morning.
every morning?
Yeah.
You wake them up?
No, they're sleeping, but like I get up and they take my spot in bed.
Okay.
And so I always say, okay, goodbye. And I usually pat each of them in the head and stuff.
Isn't it funny how dogs will take your spot? Jim does the same thing, but for Jim in the mornings, I have to put him in a crate. And so he gets to lay in my spot for as long as it takes me to get ready.
Oh, yeah.
So once I get out of bed, then he'll like cuddle over into my spot, and I'll take a shower, and then I'll get dressed, and then I have to lure him into his crate, which is sometimes easier than others. A lot of times he's very comfy in the mornings.
Now, hopefully Jim's not hearing this because he's like, well, Nikki just leaves her dogs out.
That's
She
right.
just lets him lay in the bed all day. Jim, if you didn't pee in my bed, you could lay in it. But unfortunately, you've peed in it before.
That's your own fault.
Yeah. So do you say goodbye to Jim?
Yes, I say goodbye to him when he's in his crate. I give him a treat.
And
He
we say
goes in the
hello
crate.
when you go in.
Yeah.
Only, if the dog's there to greet me, I say hello. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't say goodbye to Zafira the dog when I leave in the morning because she just stays asleep. I don't want to wake her up. I don't want to disturb her. But if I'm leaving, I'll tell you the only reason I say, because this is like if you leave later in the day when it's not for work, do you still say goodbye to him?
Yeah, I do.
Every time I leave.
Every time? Mm-hmm. See,
Because I put him in the crate every time I leave.
yeah.
And so he's always like, I'm literally closing the door, leaving him. So I usually poke his nose and say goodbye.
So
I like how you're always so nice. And then there's one thing. What are you poking his nose for?
Well, I'm like doing like a little scratch, like a little, I'll see you later, little buddy.
boop,
Okay,
do you
then-
boop it?
A little, it's like more of like a rub on it, because I'm like trying to pet him. And so it's like a rub on the edge of the nose. Like, I'll see you later, little man. Hang in there.
well, let's
Have
use
fun.
the word boop and not poke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boop his nose. I boop his nose.
Why do you guys, because you put him in the crate, so that makes sense. But Nikki, why do you
Do I
say goodbye to
my
your dogs every time?
Because they usually come to the door to say goodbye to me. Like they're like, oh, are we all going? Oh, no, okay, we'll just stay here. And then I just say goodbye to them.
I like to reassure as well that I am coming back.
Right. And with Zafira, the only reason I'll say goodbye if she's at the top of the stairs when I'm walking out the door is because she always, for some reason, assumes if I leave for anything that's not first thing in the morning for work, she'll assume, it seems, that she's coming along. So I have to say goodbye and explain
Diffuse.
that you don't get to come along, Zafira the dog. So bye-bye, I'll see you later. But other than that, if she was just sitting on the couch, I wouldn't say when I was like, bye, my wife, bye. I wouldn't say goodbye to Zafira the dog.
Oh,
I
you're
wouldn't
just
do
awful.
that.
You're awful.
But why? Why is that so bad?
Why not? They're a family member. You say
Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah, but this is what JR said, and I agree with it, that if he doesn't say goodbye to his wife when he leaves, then when he comes back, his wife is like, why didn't you say goodbye to me? But your dog's not going to do that. The dog's still going to be standing there with a dumb look on her face when I come home, no matter what I say to her when I leave.
Listen, we can't agree on this then. You got to say goodbye to them.
I always say goodbye. And you know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I read this thing once that said that, like, when you go on vacation and stuff, there's a point that if you're gone from your dog long enough,
Yeah.
to where he thinks you're not coming back.
I know.
Isn't that the saddest thing you've ever heard?
What's the point?
I don't know how long it is.
Right when you drop them off.
But right when you leave. But yeah, your dog just waits. Like, there's days when I'm gone from gym for like an hour. There's days where I'm gone from gym for like 8 hours, and it's just like he's sitting there thinking at any moment I could walk through the door. And so that's so sad to think about, so I always say goodbye.
So there.
You've really made me.
Yeah, Zafira right
not
now
changed
is
my mind
waiting.
at all.
She's like, Hudson could come back
She
at
doesn't
any
even know
moment.
I'm gone.
She's
She
like,
doesn't
he come
even
back.
know.
She's just staring at the door. She's like, any moment now he's coming.
Well, it's not just with dogs. Regina texted in, says, tells her cat goodbye. So, of course, you have to
Now,
include cats as well.
If I had a cat, there's no chance I'd say goodbye to that thing.
What?
What you just said thing. That's messed
Yeah.
up. That is messed up.
Cats are not always around, though. Like, so they're not always clean.
Yeah, I'm not going to go find Clover the cat and be like, hey, bye, see you later.
You can just do like a yell on the house, wherever they're at.
if my
Clover,
cat-
I'm leaving.
If Clover can't bother to come, walk me to the door, then Clover doesn't get a goodbye.
I'm hearing a lot about you
It sounds like you don't like cats very much, is what I'm getting from this.
or your dog.
I don't have a lot of emotional attachments.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
I've got a Stranger Things update for you.
Oh, what are they doing?
It's not the Stranger Things update everybody wants. A release date for season 5, the grand finale. We still don't know when that's coming, but what we do know is that a new Stranger Things series is in the works, and this one is going to be a little different because it's going to be animated.
feel like that's what they do, though, because the finale of like 5, that's supposed to be it for Stranger Things. So then you're like, well, how can we continue Stranger Things but not have the actors anymore?
Animated.
And so the animated is a trick.
Yeah, but it does seem that we'll have, as most things in some form or another revolving around Stranger Things, will have the creators of the show, the Duffer Brothers, are going to be involved. And this sounds like something that they really wanted to do, because they want to give it a Saturday morning cartoon feel.
So that will be the cartoon style?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what that, I mean, I'm thinking like 30-minute episodes, maybe like they aren't related to each other type thing. Like that's what I remember from Saturday morning cartoons, right? There wasn't like a through line to the cartoons. It'd just be one episode. You could watch it and that'd be it. But I don't know. Does that mean it's Stranger Things that's truly for children, or are adults supposed to embrace it too? I don't know.
Oh, well, it just depends, because sometimes, we'll get something where it's obviously not written for younger, but the stylization of it. What's the one that's coming out? Oh, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's got a really weird look. But then you just watch the trailer for it and you're like, well, what age is that actually for?
Oh, that's definitely for kids,
like,
right?
am I going to, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's for young kids, but I think that's like something that's supposed to be kind of an all ages thing. And I think this will be, I don't know if this will be, if anything, it'll be geared more towards kids.
You think so?
Based off of them saying Saturday morning cartoon. You're an adult, you watch Saturday morning cartoons?
But I think just because they say Saturday morning cartoons,
that's for an older person who watched Saturday morning cartoons.
And I think too, I mean, there's a lot of things that are like Saturday morning cartoon type shows that aren't for children. Like you think about like The Simpsons and South Park and shows like that. Like they still have that general look and the same, like each episode stands on its own. But just because it's like anime doesn't mean it can be for kids.
Well, I think that's different.
How's that different?
I think animated and Saturday morning cartoons are different.
But what would you consider like The Simpsons or South Park or any shows like that?
Consider those adult animation shows.
So you wouldn't consider that Saturday morning cartoon type?
No, they've never been on Saturday morning at all.
Yeah, but they're saying Saturday morning cartoon type shows.
Yeah,
but I don't think that means like it's going to be Garfield.
Saturday morning cartoon style, like the old.
I think the art style of it will be that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that he's talking about. It's like art style and like plot type.
I think it'll be like it'll be funny, like funny for kids, and like maybe it'll teach them a lesson or something. Like there'll be a moral to the story.
Like it's going to be shown on PBS, is what you're saying.
Not PBS. No,
that's what you're making it out to be.
No, like remember.
You just get one contained episode.
Like
the whole story's in the one cartoon episode.
It'll be like The Tick or like Ghostbusters or like that show with Louis Anderson where he was a child. Those kind of shows.
I just want to keep hearing what cartoons you're coming up with.
Yeah, or like Blib Blorb and the Fun Gang.
See, none of these shows anyone knows. That's what I'm thinking.
But those are Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, but I think you're digging too much in the Saturday morning cartoons. And
that's what they said it's going to be.
But that doesn't mean that's what it's going to be.
Thing they said.
Hey,
so you think it's going to be a Saturday morning cartoon because they haven't made one of those in 30 years.
It doesn't even matter. It probably won't even be anything like that. It'll just be on Netflix, and it'll just be a 30-minute animated version of Stranger Things because the cast is gone.
So do we want it? And if we do want it, what do we want it to be?
When do we want it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm good when Stranger Things ends just to have it end. I don't have to have a continuation of the story, or I don't need to know the origins or anything else, but they tend to just try to stretch things out too far. So I probably would not watch an animated cartoon of it.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think here's when they mentioned Saturday morning cartoons. I think
that really threw you.
You'd love that.
That's his
you love that.
The one thing they said that it's like.
You love that.
They didn't say it's going to be Adult Swim style or something.
Okay.
They said Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay, the Duffer Brothers take that back. They just wanted to stop.
And think about what Saturday morning cartoons were the 80s when the show was when this show is taking place. That's what they're going for. But what I mean is,
it might have a more nod to that.
Yes, and it plays so much on Saturday morning cartoons are something you're nostalgic for. So as an adult, you're not gonna like something that's new. You want to watch old Saturday morning cartoons you grew up with. And so I don't know who this is going to be for.
I'm so excited now. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think you've talked yourself in and out of watching the show.
I can't tell if you like it or not. I'm confused.
Well, because it's a Saturday morning cartoon.
Is it a Saturday morning cartoon, Nikki? I didn't know for sure if it was a Saturday morning cartoon or not. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Because that's what they said.
That's what they said. That's the one thing they said.
All right, and they did. They did say that.
They didn't say it would be like The Simpsons.
No.
Because that's not a Saturday morning cartoon.
No, it's not.
Obviously not.
Text in what a Saturday morning cartoon is.
You go get some water, all right?
Radio U. Why do you do this on the days of my voice struggles?
I know, you're so upset.
It's the days you make me most upset.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Don't want to wade back into the Saturday morning cartoon bit.
Here we go. No one wants to.
Texted in a Saturday morning cartoon, Scooby-Doo.
My favorite of all time.
A great example of what a Saturday morning cartoon actually is, and it actually ties into what we're about to talk about because Isaiah got a nice comment on YouTube, on the Radio U Riot YouTube channel recently.
For one of the videos?
Yeah. One of our shorts.
Usually they're not very nice.
Yeah, that's right. This one I believe is a compliment. Is somebody texted in, or I guess commented, and they said that you sound like Casey Kasem Jr.
But
I don't know who Casey Kasem is.
It's an old radio guy.
How do you not know?
I think he passed away.
I never heard of him.
He is. He's no longer with us. But Casey Kasem, one, it's crazy you got into radio. He's one of like the five. If you made like a Mount Rushmore of important radio personalities, he's one of them.
That.
He's a good one.
It's him and Wolfman Jack and what's that other guy? Howard Stern and
Stern. Yeah.
I don't know. And then me. But
rounding out the top five.
So you should.
There's still room for one more.
You should also know that he was the voice of Shaggy. Not in every single Scooby-Doo thing ever, but for a long time,
for
he's
a lot
the
of
voice
them,
of Shaggy. Yeah.
I don't sound like Shaggy though. That's not his normal voice.
Kind of like when you hear his
was
radio.
Was it a compliment then? At this
that's
point
what
now?
I'm wondering.
When you hear his radio voice and you hear him do Shaggy, then you're like, oh, that makes sense. But
does it
obviously,
sound similar?
He doesn't sound like he's a stoner when he's on the radio.
I didn't know for sure if he did the whole like Scoob thing. I'm sure you can do it.
He doesn't say Scoob when he
doesn't say
Scoob when he's hosting when he was hosting the Top 40 countdown, America's Top 40.
Got it.
But
like Ryan Seacrest does now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't he before? Well, maybe he was before then.
I don't know if Ryan Seacrest directly succeeded him, but that would make a lot of sense actually, because I think he did it until like into our lifetimes. He was still doing the Top 40 count. So that's a huge compliment.
Or is it? I need to hear his voice because if he has like a weird, I guess he's a good radio personality.
Yeah.
Unless they really truly mean you sound like Shaggy.
Unless they mean, like Shaggy.
But he didn't say that though. Well, that's also be confusing because it could be it wasn't me guy.
Well,
and so
feel free to direct all your compliments to Radio U Riot on Facebook or YouTube for any Isaiah videos.
Of course. I'd love some more compliments.
On who you think he sounds like.
That's right. Why don't you try doing like a Shaggy right now then?
See, I can't like he's like Scoob or whatever it is.
See, you sound just like him.
I didn't sound like him at all.
You nailed it.
I didn't.
Wait,
you are Casey Kasem Jr.
I can't. I've never even
say
tried it before.
Say zoinks.
Zoinks? But it doesn't sound like him. I don't sound like Scooby or Shaggy.
You sound 100% like him.
No. I'm going to have to agree with Hudson on this one.
It is my favorite childhood TV show of all time.
You're going to be hosting America's Top 40 in no time.
I don't know why Ryan Seacrest is doing it and not me. It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't even sound like him.
Or he'll be voicing the next iteration of
Scooby-Doo.
The Radio U countdown.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at Radio U Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Did you guys play any board games over Easter?
No.
I played one.
You get together with family, you play like board games or card games or whatever?
My mom always brings something.
Yeah, what did you guys play?
We played a game, I think it was called Scared. It was pretty fun.
Sounds nice.
It was a grand time.
Anything else you'd like to add?
If you want to get it, you can get it at my parents' toy store.
That's why you would have it.
That's
That is
right.
funny. So wait, is she unwrapping, bringing it, wrapping it back?
Is it like
Yes,
are you
yes,
like
you
a
going back
test?
and selling it. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Or it's good that she tries out the stuff, so then
Yeah.
she can be an informed seller.
Right.
Because
That
then when
makes
she when
sense.
she goes to sell it, she's actually played it.
What
and it was
age
fun.
range would it be good for? Would it be fun for
Yeah.
a big group? Or whether, that's actually...
It was a good game.
No wonder your parents' toy stores are doing so well.
Oh, fan,
That's
'cause we
going the
try all the
extra
games.
mile.
Yeah.
We played a game called Super Fight. That's a card game.
Super Fi?
Super Fight.
Oh, fight. Okay.
Yeah, but I have a story here about how a super fight broke out over a game of Monopoly on Easter Sunday in Belgium. And this is crazy. Here's the first crazy part of it, is that people were getting upset because 4 people were out playing Monopoly on the sidewalk on Sunday night.
Sunday night?
Outside, just out on the sidewalk, just playing a game of Monopoly.
They say, well, technically, they said it was around 5 a.m.
That's an odd time for Monopoly. That's
well,
for
that
sure.
means there's other issues going on.
Well, they started the game at noon the day before.
Maybe it was a pre-sunrise service Monopoly game.
An Easter one.
Yeah, that's right. And so they were waking up the neighbors and stuff like that. A father and a son came out to the street to try to shoo them away, or, hey, you guys, keep it down. But the son arrived with a samurai sword.
Now
He was
it's escalated.
armed.
No, that's aggressive. That's too aggressive.
You just flash a samurai sword and things are just that's not gonna diffuse the situation. That's a challenge to a lot of people.
He's been waiting to whip that thing out too. Like, he hasn't had a time where he could use it as an intimidation factor. So his dad was like, "Come on, let's go out there and talk to these guys." And he's like, "You know what I should bring?
Bring in the sword."
My samurai sword I got for Christmas 3 years ago. I've never got to use.
His son says, "I've got just the thing."
I've been waiting to use this.
And so one of the Monopoly players tried to take the sword.
Which sounds dumb when we're saying this.
It does. That sounds dumb.
I feel like I'd have better chances of taking a gun out of someone's hand than
a samurai sword.
Yeah, samurai, because it just cut your fingers off.
Well, it exposed it from the holder for the samurai sword.
So he was trying to snatch it out of the pocket. Well, maybe I could do that.
And so then the son tried to get his samurai sword back, and that's when they were both injured because they were grabbing onto the blade.
Dang.
I don't think they were swinging it at each other.
Yeah, I never got to the point where they were chopping.
They were
each other up.
just pulling back and forth.
Yeah.
They're both holding an end of it.
The lamest samurai sword fight you can imagine.
Yeah, give me that back. That's my sword.
This actually gets pretty intense. So the Monopoly player, he's been freed from the hospital, but the son who owned the samurai sword, it struck one of his arteries, so he's in critical condition.
That's not
good. He got
good.
struck by his own samurai sword.
And they've both been arrested.
Dang.
Well, that makes sense.
So he's arrested at the hospital. Actually adds insult to injury right there. My man, if you're going to be the one bringing the samurai sword to the fight, you better know how to wield that thing.
Well, he thought he was bringing it to the Monopoly party.
He
was showing it off a little bit too much.
He thought that'd be enough to intimidate everyone. But
he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
You keep that thing in the holster, no chance.
Nobody own a samurai sword, and if you do, put it up so high that you can't reach it during these moments of an argument.
Kind of like keeping your guns locked in a safe.
Yes,
If something does
just
go
for
down,
decoration.
it will do you no good whatsoever.
Good call.
You keep that
on
samurai sword on the wall, and it's just for decoration. I own one.
For display only.
Yes, exactly.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at radiou.com/donate.